Hello, the 31st here, how's it going? Welcome back to another video. Today we're looking at a weird quirk of Pokemon breeding and biology I have never heard discussed before. I have done a lot of videos on this topic, and I've also seen a lot of videos on this topic. But not once have I ever heard this mentioned. And that is that Pokemon eggs can be left seemingly any amount of time just wherever, and they won't hatch or die. But as soon as you incubate or carry them around, they will start to come to life and then hatch. And that is consistent across all the games. I don't think I explained that very well. Basically, with a normal egg, there is a creature growing and developing inside it. And if that egg isn't incubated properly, right from the start, that being inside won't be able to develop and is gonna die. Whereas Pokemon eggs can just be left in basically any storage, like a cupboard or something, and they'll be perfectly fine. They will still be able to hatch, no problem. But they won't start hatching until they are incubated, either in a machine or presumably by the heat of a human body. So that poses a perplexing mystery. What the UCKNL are Pokemon eggs? According to a little girl in Celestian Town, no one has ever seen a Pokemon lay an egg. But she's a little child, so I refuse to listen to a word she says. Two people I am slightly more inclined to listen to are a monsieur in Coumarine City and Cynthia, who describe eggs as being more like cradles. But cradles are just something that holds an infant. Cynthia also says, "That's wonderful. The Pokemon inside is very happy too. I'm sure of it." This kind of paints the image that inside the egg is a fully developed Pokemon waiting to hatch. But if that's the case, why doesn't it just hatch immediately after being laid? And why do different eggs take different amounts of time to hatch? Different eggs have different egg cycles depending on the Pokemon that is going to hatch from the egg. Each egg cycle has a different amount of steps needed for the egg to hatch. I don't think that walking actually has anything to do with hatching the egg. I just think steps are used to denote time instead of actually using time for mechanical purposes. When you have an egg in your party, you get some text to tell you how close the egg is to hatching. It looks as though the egg will take a long time yet to hatch. What Pokemon will hatch from this egg? It doesn't seem close to hatching. It appears to move occasionally. It may be close to hatching. Sounds can be heard coming from inside. The egg will hatch soon. And accompanying this is egg animations. This tells us that at the start, the egg simply isn't ready to hatch. No matter what goes on, you won't get a Pokemon out of it, even if you crack it open, I assume. We don't actually know what would happen if you broke a Pokemon egg open before it could hatch. But in Sinnoh, you can take your egg to the spa, but you can't get your egg massaged. If you try, the massage girl will say, "That's silly. I'd break the egg if I tried to massage it." You know, I once asked a girl to massage my eggs. She said she'd break them too. I can tell you right now, if I was in the world of Pokemon, I'd be cracking eggs open. In the name of science. Science and breakfast. Anyway, we are pretty much left with two possibilities. Once two Pokemon combine their genetic material in the gooey act of love, an egg is formed. And either the egg has a fully formed Pokemon inside of it right from the start, or it's a regular egg with slime in it to begin with that then develops into a living thing. Or maybe a third option I haven't thought of. If it's the former, then the Pokemon inside is basically in a dormant state, where it can stay without food and water until heated, when it slowly comes to life. Like one of those dinosaurs you put in water, but, conforming for the analogy. If it's the latter, then it's an egg. Then Cynthia is just trying to sound poetic and mysterious. The cryptic bitch. But it can stay as goo indefinitely until heated, and then it'll start to develop. IRL, if an egg isn't looked after, the embryo won't form. And it's kind of the same in Pokemon, just in the terrible real world, that egg will die as a result of a lack of embryonic development. Also, the success of the egg depends intensely on the incubation being just right. Everything needs to be perfect. If the humidity is wrong, the embryo can drown or dehydrate. If the temperature is too hot, the egg will hatch too early, and if the temperature is too cold, it'll hatch late. And fun fact I learned today, eggs need to be turned. If not turned for long periods of time, the yolk will eventually touch the inner membrane of the shell. When the embryo touches the shell's membrane, it'll stick to it and die. Regularly turning the egg will prevent this and ensure healthy embryonic development. Shaking or vibrations in the early stages will also kill the chick inside of the egg, and at the later stages it can result in crippled chicks. So you cycling around with that egg in your pocket are a fucking monster. Shout out to this website for this bloody cracker of a joke. Luckily, Pokemon don't suffer genetic deformities, so that's cool. The lucky bastards. Personally, I think it's more likely to be the second option, because that way the eggs can be small and not onyx size. Onyx size? Because that way the eggs can be small and not onyx sized. But there's stuff you could do with the first option. Like either the egg stays inside the mother and the Pokemon develops inside the egg, inside the mum, all in the perfect conditions before being laid, fully formed inside the egg, then turned to stone or something until incubated to awaken like a Kinder Surprise. Or maybe Pokemon are placental, but instead of giving birth, they wrap the baby up inside of a shell like a gift to the world, like it's Christmas. One thing that gets me about the games though is the sprites all being the same. I get that it's easier and that it's a reference to Yoshi because Game Freak are fucking narcissists, but I love other places like the anime, Pokemon Snap, or the Examination Hat Shop channel in Pokemon Channel, where the egg has the design of the Pokemon that's inside of it on the outside. And they're different shapes and sizes. Much cooler, in my opinion, much more realistic. So yeah, a thing no one ever questioned that doesn't have a good answer. I hope you enjoyed. That was the video. If you have any suggestions or answers, feel free to leave them in the comments. I always love hearing that sort of thing. If you enjoyed, please leave a like and subscribe. We are so goddamn close to 1,000. I want to get that community tab so I can shitpost. Yes, please. That's about it. Please send me money in the post. Goodbye.